on? Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock. What's that mean? Time to start. Okay, he said it's 11:02 and I'm 2 minutes late. Well, always late, Dave. Would you all please rise? We're going to sing Stand Up for Jesus, so I should have said just stand up. Number 23 in the hymnal. Everybody sing. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the word. Lift high his royal banner and send it round the world. From victory unto victory, his army shall he lead, till every foe is vanquished, and Christ is Lord indeed. Stand up for Jesus, the trumpet call obey, for to the mighty conflict on this his glorious day, ye that are men now serve him against unnumbered foes, will every lies with danger and strength to strength oppose. Stand up for Jesus, send in his strength alone. The arm of flesh will fail you, ye dare not trust your own. Put on the gospel armor, each piece put on with prayer. Where duty calls or danger, be never wanting there. Stand up for Jesus, the strife will not be long. This day the noise of battle, the next the victor's song. A crown of life shall be with the King of glory, shall reign eternally. I'm going to ask Skip or Mr. Silverstein back there if he would move this mic. It's right in the way. Yeah, no, you don't have to come up here. Just stay there. Stay there. Next year, move it up to the front of the podium. All right, let's sing it. Well, let's have an opening prayer today. Okay, the opening prayer is going to be given by Mr. Steve Mansfield.
Our eternal Father, how holy be thy name. Father, as we come before you today, we humbly kneel down. We give all honor to you for this beautiful day here at the Feast of Tabernacles. For those who could not make it for unfortunate reasons, we ask, Father, that we be a beacon for them, that they may know that you are the one who loves us all, and that one day we will gather together and tabernacle together in that great day. Upon that, Father, we ask that you bless our speaker today, that his message may be carried throughout this world, that they may hear your love and may obey your love. Upon that holy name of Jesus, amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right, let's sing another song. How about that? Number 165, Open My Eyes That I May See. Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth thou sendest clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love for thy children thus to share. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine. Please be seated. Thank you very much. And now for our announcements. Mr. Skip Martin. Do you need help with that? I can do it. Okay. You're going to sit down and do it today. All right. You want the mic?
Good morning. I was asked to bring a chair up here for those of us who make announcements or give opening prayers or whatever to come up and sit before whoever's before us finishes. So Friday night, when Charles is giving that Bible study, I'm sitting right there the whole time. Diane and I had to move out of our unit this morning. We had a really nice unit, but it was on a one-way dead-end street. Once you got there, you couldn't get out. Is this attendance or attendance? 101 of you. 13 people didn't come today. Who are they? You were here. Okay. I forgot my basket. Diane, would you bring me my basket, please? You can't. No, she can't. She won yesterday. She wants to win again. It's not time for those yet. We have kind of, I don't know if this is a treat, but we have something that doesn't happen very often. We have a family here of 4 generations. Where are Wayne and Minnie? Where are you? They're way back there in the back. Anyway, Wayne and Minnie, yeah, stand up. Stand up. Well, wait a minute. The older ones probably won't be able to. Wayne and Minnie Bennett, and then Rodney and Anita Bennett. What? There. Okay. Justin and Reagan Wood. Wade. Who wrote this? Justin, where are they? Okay, all right, understand. And then the 4th generation is Lake and Wood, who probably won't be able to stand up. Lake and Wade. Yeah. Okay, John Beasley. I know everybody's concerned about John, and we all know John's not the only one that's got problems, but John was supposed to be here, and y'all are having to put up with me instead. And John's going to have a procedure this morning, and hopefully they'll be able to tell. They don't know what's wrong. Well, they think it's diverticulitis, but it doesn't act like diverticulitis. So they're going to do some more tests this morning, and hopefully they can find out something, and he can get here for the rest of the feast. So continue to pray for John and Cindy. Remember to register if you haven't registered, because you don't get your name in here for the drawing for does it say $1,000? A book that's worth $1,000. So be sure and get your name in the hat for the drawing tomorrow. It's for an autographed book by John Kovacs, Shocked by the Bible. Some of you may be familiar. Some of you probably already have the book and have read it. If you have children, don't forget to sign up for YEA Sabbath School. And there are 2 literature tables back there in the back. Don't forget the service project. And please collect items for at-risk pregnancies. And what's the name of the Change Point Ministries? Okay. This is from John, and some of it doesn't make any sense. I think he was on drugs. Legal drugs. Now let me look at this and see if I've got. What is this? Oh, it's a light. I'm going to turn it off when Brent gets up here. I think that's about it. Blake, can you think of anything else? Oh, yeah. We've got 4 sign-up sheets back there. The fellowship dinners. Got to get my old notes out for that. Fellowship dinner. Now that's dinners. And I think I explained yesterday, if you want to head up one of them and get some people to go to dinner with you, sign up out there as the sponsor, I suppose would be the best word. And then if by some chance you like the person that says they're going to sponsor, you might want to go to theirs. If you don't like them, go to another one. Ladies' luncheon is today, immediately after church. Where is it, Blake? In one of the seminar rooms. It's at 1 o'clock. You're going to serve some kind of luncheon, right? Chicken salad and tomato basil soup with a little bacon. Yeah, for flavor. Sign up for anointings and baptisms. Is that all of the sign-ups? Okay. In case you all haven't noticed, I'm not the typical announcement giver, and I'm kind of... My wife is... Yes. I thought I'd get an ovation for that one. It's pretty obvious, though. John is supposed to be up here doing this. So if you want to do special music, get with Suzanne. I think Brent's going to do it every day. Where's he? Well, we do have special music today, but Dave will introduce that. And that's it. I'm going to go sit down. After I draw, somebody draw. I had Gary yesterday. Sandy, would you come draw anyone's name but yours? See, that's the way you stir them up. We'll book I'm taking on. All right. And he will be here speaking on Friday. Okay. All right. Okay. Dave, would you like to lead some more songs, or you want me to keep talking? Dave's gone. There he is. You're supposed to be in this chair. Charles, they won't sit in it. Thank you, sir. I have to unpack a lot of stuff.
Load back up. Load back up. Why don't you sit up here until tomorrow? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I can sit behind Brent.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. He would love that. So, they gave me a number. It says 101. Did he tell you 101 already? That's how many people are in the room right now. 101 people. That's great. That's yeah. Okay. So we're going to do another song, then we'll have some special music, okay? And then we'll have the sermon, okay? So if everybody will please rise. You need to stand up for a little bit because this sermon is going to be 2 hours long. So, okay. Number 34, Day by Day. Everybody sing. Day by day, and with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here. Trusting in my Father's wise bestowment, I'm no cause for worry or fear. He whose heart is kind beyond all measure gives unto each day what he deems best. Lovingly, it's part of pain and pleasure, mingling trial with peace and rest. Every day the Lord himself is near me with a special mercy for each hour. All my cares he fain would bear and cheer me, he whose name is Counselor and Power. The protection of his child and treasure is a charge that on himself he laid. As your days, your strength shall be in measure. This the pledge to me he made. Help me then in every tribulation, so to trust your promises, O Lord, that my love offered me within your holy word. Help me, Lord, when toil and trouble meeting, ere to take from a father's hand, one by one, the days, the moments fleeting, till I reach the promised land. Beautiful. Now for some special music. Oh. No, I didn't see you come up here.
See, that's what that's for.
You messed me all up.
I know it. Okay, I left out another four-generation family that's here. the whole Watkins crew is back here. Larry and Kitty, Alicia, Brian, Chris, and a whole bunch of grands and one great grand here and one on the way, right? Yep. So would you all stand up? Stand up. Stand up, Larry. Okay, thank you. See, the chair works.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. All right, now we're going to have some special music by Miss Cynthia Norton, and she's going to be singing "Come, Jesus, Come." And then right after that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my son for the speaking engagement today, Brent Kern. Okay.
Sometimes I fall to my knees and pray, come, Jesus, come. Let today be the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break, but I'm holding on to a hope that won't fade. Come, Jesus, come. They've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. Deep down I know this world isn't home. Come, Jesus, come. There will be no wars, and there'll be no chains when Jesus comes. Let today be the day. He'll come for the weak and the strong just the same, and all will believe in the power of his name. Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long till the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. Deep down I know this world isn't home. So come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. One day he'll come, and we'll stand face to face. Come and lay it all down, 'cause it might be today. The time is right now. There's no need to wait. Your past will be washed by rivers of grace. Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for you to return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. Deep down I know this world isn't home. So come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come.
Thank you, Cynthia. The C.C. Winans song, Come Jesus Come. What a powerful, powerful testimony and song. The least of these. Have you ever fed Jesus before? Have any of you ever fed Jesus? Well, let's read Matthew 25 and ask the question again. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They also answered the Lord, When did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? He will truly reply, Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Have you ever fed Jesus? Well, let me start today by talking about a trip that Corey and I took this summer. We got to go to Greece on a mission trip. So originally, Corey was going to go by herself. She just recently about a year ago, got a job with a ministry called Metro Relief of Dallas. And as part of her responsibility, she had to go on a mission trip in June to Greece, to Athens, Greece. For a long time, we went back and forth on whether I was going to go with her. At the time when she first got her job, I was employed. And around April 1st of this year, I lost my job. And so we're like, well, maybe I can go, because my job was going to actually take me to Hawaii when she went to Greece. I know that would have been rough for me to go all the way out there to Hawaii. But God took that barrier out of the way. But another barrier was then put in place, because in order to go on the mission trip, you had to pay $3,000. And when you're unemployed, $3,000 is not something that you just want to throw down on a mission trip really easily and quickly. So we debated back and forth. We had pretty much come to the point that she was going to go without me. Many of you may not know this, but my mom is the baby of her family. My dad is the baby of his family, and I'm the youngest of 5. So I come from a really long line of babies, and I don't like not being able to do something. It's kind of just built into me from the very beginning that Chris Watkins is smiling. He knows. He's the baby of the family, too. All of you are out here who are babies. You understand that. But we still wasn't wise, probably, to spend the money to go. And then God. God steps in, doesn't he? So about 2 weeks before the trip, Corey's boss, Brian, calls her and says, hey, I know you guys have been back and forth. If Brent still wants to go, somebody dropped out, and we can give it to him for somewhat of a reduced price. It's like, So we thought about it. And I prayed. We prayed a lot, and I decided, you love how this works here. I decided, God, I'm going to ask some people if they will support us and fund us. And if the funding comes in, then I will deem that as you wanting me to go, and I'll go. So I put some feelers out, asked some questions, asked some people, and I still needed pretty close to $3,000, and a whopping $250 came in. Well, that's not enough. So I decided to be prudent and not go. And then God. And I was sitting there about probably 5 or 6 days before Corey was going to leave. I was like, man, am I doing the right thing? Should I be stepping out more on faith? And I prayed, and it really came to me that I had the cart in front of the horse. That I didn't need to wait on God. I needed to trust God. And so I told Corey, I was like, Corey, I think I should do this. I think, we're just going to find the money and we're going to do it. And we agreed, and she went and told Brian, and he goes, someone already took the spot. And I was like, but no, I feel like God has told me to do this. And he goes, we'll make room for you, but somebody took the spot we were going to put you in. So, long story long, I started looking for my own airfare because I figured I could probably find it cheaper than what they could do it for. I have a bunch of miles built up, and I thought maybe I could even use miles, and that didn't work. But I found a flight that left Dallas and went to D.C. It gave me 20 minutes in Washington, D.C. to transfer to get to New York, which then gave me 25 minutes to transfer to get on a plane to go to Greece. And I was like, you know what, God, if you want me there, you'll get me there. And literally, I was the last person on both the planes from D.C. to New York and New York to Athens when I did this trip. But the really incredible thing here, I hit book my trip on the American Airlines website, and up popped up and said, do you want to use your credits? So the company that laid me off on April 1st, not an April Fool's joke, by the way, the company that laid me off on April 1st had me booked for a bunch of travel. I had to cancel those flights, and there's no way to actually take those travel credits and give them back to your company. So guess what? I had $1,400 sitting in my American Airlines account that covered my trip to Athens, my flight. And then a business partner who I've been working with, who's owed me a considerable amount of money for about 2 years now, said, you know what, I need to start making you payments. And he sent me $1,000. So $2,400, plus I got the $250 before I decided. So I had $2,650. And that's almost exactly what it cost me to go to Athens and for my lodging and my food. But then God doesn't stop there. I'm on the plane from New York to Athens, and unbeknownst to me, because I don't have internet access, my son put out on Instagram that I was doing this, and this to me is like the widow's mite. One of the boys that he went to high school with, who has no money, sent me $10 for my trip. And then somebody who I didn't even ask sent me $3,000, and they paid for Corey's trip. Is God not big? Is God not amazing when we step out on faith? So, we went to Athens, Greece. We went there with Metro Relief of Dallas to partner with some ministries in Athens to work with the homeless and the refugees in Athens. Whew, what an experience. First, I have to tell you, we stayed in a big place. I don't know, there was probably 6 bedrooms there. There was, I think, probably 10 or 12 of us staying in one, and there was another place right next to us that had another 10 or 12. There were 30 of us in all. And what I didn't know until about the third night we were there is our place was right in the middle of the red light district of Athens. We were on the very top floor. You could walk out on the balcony, this huge balcony where we had some of our meals. And at nighttime, they don't use red lights, they turn on white lights. And if you look off your balcony, it looks like the stars of the sky. So Corey and I took a trip to an amazing exotic place and witnessed the least of these. We witnessed those who need, those who are hurting, those who are lost. There was a walk that happened a couple of times through the red light district, and there was a woman they met in the red light district who was 80 years old. And her clients oftentimes are 25 and 30 years old. And she says, because I mother them. They've lost their mother, they've lost their way, and I provide that for them. The least of these people. Like I said, God brought us there. God took us to this place. By the way, that was the Parthenon that I showed. And I want to show you this here too, because this is Athens. And it's just actually a portion of it. Athens is huge. There are hardly no buildings in the entire city that are more than 6 or 7 stories tall. But yet, I think were there 5 or 6 million people, I think, that lived in the city, something like that. It's a massive sprawl of buildings just like this. And right at the center of the city is the Parthenon. And just a little aside, so that you know the difference between Acropolis and Parthenon, because that's kind of the tricky words. The Parthenon is actually the building that you see with all the spears and everything on it. The Acropolis is actually the land that it sits on top of. And Acropolises are all over Greece. It actually is a high elevated area that can be fortified, is really what an Acropolis means. This is the famous Acropolis with the famous Parthenon sitting on top of it. But at the center of this city is this pagan temple to the Greek gods. But yet, Greece is 88% Christian. They're actually 2% Islam, 1% other, and then 9% that don't identify with any religion at all. But yet, their culture is infiltrated by this Parthenon, this Greek mythology, this pagan culture. And at first, it's really quite a juxtaposition that you hear the name of Zeus talked about. You hear the name of Athena. That's what the town is named after. Athens is named after the goddess Athena. You hear about Ares, and you hear about all of the different gods. And when we were there, it actually was the temperature was in the hundreds many of the days we were there. And there was even comments a couple of times about, and I can't remember which god they invoked. It might have been Zeus or something, but it's like, man, boy, Zeus really has brought on the weather today. And you're like, wow, this is a Christian nation, but yet they're invoking these pagan concepts. And then I thought, are we any different? If it were 105 degrees outside, I'll bet somebody in here would have talked about Mother Nature this week. So, as you get there and you experience the place, it's beautiful. It's an amazing place, but this pagan culture that is in their history is really so similar to what we are here. We have so much of that in our culture as well. So this picture right here, this is Tyler. He actually, this man, he's an American, raised here in the United States, decided that he was going to give up everything and move to Greece to help homeless and refugees. And that's what he does. You know, it costs about $1 a day to use the train in Athens, and he won't even spend that because he wants his money to be able to go to help these people. So he walks everywhere in that city. Now, anyone know where he's standing? He is standing probably almost in the exact spot that Paul stood on Mars Hill when he was speaking to the Athenians. As a matter of fact, what you can't see is his viewpoint is looking right at the Parthenon that I showed you a minute ago. So you could almost imagine, maybe a little bit different clothing, but that Paul is standing right there with the Parthenon, the temple to Zeus. Although it wasn't just a temple, it actually has been a school, it's been an office building, it's been a military base, it's been a storage facility, it's been a lot of things over the years. But where Tyler is looking right now, very likely was exactly the same view that Paul had when he was speaking to the Athenians. So here's another picture of the Acropolis, of the Parthenon on top of the Acropolis. It's an amazing place. There's some other temples up there. It's quite beautiful. It's quite a view of the city from up there as well. Why did we go? So as I said before, Corey started this job with Metro Relief. This is a picture of their homepage. They deal with street ministry. They're not a homeless ministry in the fact that they just go out and try to find people and give them soup and feed them. They actually they do that, but really their mission is to find people to help them get off the street. As a matter of fact, Shields, I think it was the company Shields, it's a sporting goods company, donated to them, I want to say it's 1,000 tents, I'm probably wrong with the number, but a bunch of tents that they could give to homeless people to help. And Metro Relief actually turned it down because they don't want to enable people to stay on the streets. They want to help them. And so many of these people need the help. They need to find their way. And so Metro Relief of Dallas partners with these ministries in Greece. And so that's why we went. We went to help the least of these, the homeless, the refugees. We went and actually served an Albanian church that's in Athens. We met with people who are helping those who are trafficked, the trafficking industry. As I mentioned before, the red light district. But one of the things they warned us about is that when you go on a mission trip, you want to come home and you want to tell everybody about it. And really, people don't want to listen. Because you guys didn't go on the mission trip. I did. You can't experience what I experienced there. I could stand up here and tell you 100 stories about our trip. But you can't experience it. And eventually, you're going to feel this, Brent, shut up. You're going to get your phones out. You're going to multitask. You're going to start thinking about other things. Well, that is very true. But today, I have 2 stories that I want to share with you about this trip and about our life and about our walk. First, as I mentioned before, I did lose my job at the beginning of this year. And I started in April thinking about what is next for me. Of course, anytime any of you have ever lost your job, you circle the wagon, just, what am I going to do next? And I started scrambling and looking for a job. Nothing really showed up. Nothing came about. In May, I actually did a little bit of work for the state of California. I started there the last week of May, serving their Medicaid program. And then I worked there throughout the entire month of June. They actually ended up firing me because I went on this mission trip, which was great because I tried to quit at the beginning of the month and they really wouldn't let me, or they talked me out of it because, anyone know what the month of June is in this country? It's Pride Month. And if there's any state that celebrates Pride Month, it's California. And as a matter of fact, every time you're on a conference call with the state of California, you get to see the pride flag in the back of their wallpaper. And it was tough. I mean, I got emails constantly from the head of cultural diversity of the state of California asking me to join LGBTQIA plus sensitivity training. It was tough. But it was money. It got me an income for a little while. It got me along. It got me down the road. But I kept feeling that God is calling me to something different. Now remember, this is before we went on our mission trip. You know, I've spent 28 years in corporate America. Started with a company called EDS, small little company. Maybe you guys have heard of it. It was purchased by another small company called Hewlett-Packard. Maybe you guys have heard of that one. And then over the years, we spun off, worked for Gainwell, worked for a really small firm up in Chicago doing Medicaid. Did all of this with a music education degree and a theology degree from Perkins School of Theology at SMU. Never felt like I belonged in that world, but yet I always was able to excel and succeed and make ends meet for my family. But yet, something was different this time. Something needed to change. I started in April and I created my own LLC called Career Steps Consulting. That's part of what I did the work for California under. I've had a couple of little clients here and there. Definitely not a full-time job. Trying to just explore, trying to see where I needed to go. And I don't know yet. And I didn't know when we went to Athens. I landed there on Saturday. Corey had been there for 4 or 5 days. She got there before I did. I landed on a Saturday. We kind of did the day, went to bed. And the next morning after you fly to Europe, any of you who have ever flown to Europe, you're not just feeling the best in the morning, right? You've got a little bit of jet lag. You're feeling kind of crummy. Well, we went to church Sunday morning. And I got to hear a sermon by Corey's boss at the Albanian church in Athens. Do you think the Albanian church speaks English? They don't, but there were 30 of us there that did. And so the sermon went like this. I'm going to say a sentence, translate to Albanian. I'm going to say another sentence, translate to Albanian. You know how hard it is to listen to a sermon that every sentence is translated to another language when you have jet lag? It's tough. I'm going to tell you it's tough. But God. And so the sermon was based off of John chapter 21 and verse 1. And as we read there, afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, also known as Didymus, Nathanael from Canaan and in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. I'm going out to fish, Simon Peter told them. Simon Peter. Don't we love Simon? I think we love Simon because I think so many of us can relate. We try to take over, and so Simon does. I'm going out to fish. I'm sick of this sitting here on the shore. And they said, we'll go with you. So they went out, got into a boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, friends, haven't you any fish? No, they answered. He said, throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some. It is interesting, the right side, isn't it? Because you remember in the first passage I read, the sheep are on the right and the goats are on the left? Kind of an interesting parallel there. When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the number of large fish that they had. Then the disciples, whom Jesus loved, said to Peter, "It's the Lord." As soon as Peter heard this, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken it off, and he jumped into the water. I do wonder, maybe, if Peter thought he was going to walk across that water to Jesus at that moment. I do kind of wonder that. But, you know, as much criticism as we give Peter for being reactionary, man, sometimes he's really good reactionary. And I think this is a good one for him. Jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there, with fish on it, and some bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153, but even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. That is a kind of a strange thing right there at the very end. His resurrected state had to have been so glorious that they just really couldn't recognize his face for a little bit. So this is the passage that there's one more verse here. Jesus came, took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. So that's the passage that Brian spoke about that day. I'll tell you, a lot of times when people focus on this passage, they focus on the number, because it's a very specific number. It didn't say about 150, it didn't say 200, or even really 155. It's 153. That's a very strange, specific number. And a lot of people focus on that, and I want to just tell you why people focus on that so much. So 153 is what's called a triangular number, but there's a lot of special calculations you can do with this number, and I'm not going to go through it a whole lot, but you could see it up there. 153 is a very interesting number. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he included it in this passage, or that Jesus and God made it be 153 fish, and that they actually sat down and counted 153 fish. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it is a triangular number, which I think was kind of cool for me, because does anyone know who first discovered what a triangular number is? There's a man named Pythagoras, the man who made the Pythagorean theorem. And he probably discovered the triangular number about 4 or 5 miles from where we were sitting that morning listening to this sermon. And so it was pretty cool to think about that. But what Brian focused on was the other side of the boat. And when he started talking about this, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. And I was fully awake and fully engaged in this small little church in downtown Athens. By the way, it was like 95 degrees in this building. The women that were there were so concerned about me because I was sweating so much, they brought me these little dainty little fans that I could fan myself. It was quite humorous. All that disappeared when he started talking about the other side of the boat. You see, what he said, and what I'm telling you today, is that so often when we are stuck, when we're lost, when we're confused, when we lose our job, when we have a death, what do we go back to? We go back to what we know. What did Peter go back to after he lost Jesus? He went right back to fishing on the left side of the boat. And Jesus came along and he said, "Try something new. Try something different." You see, I envision that the way the boat was set up is that the left side was probably closest to shore. And so if you catch fish, maybe it's easier to get it to shore. And what Jesus asks is to do it on the opposite side of the boat. And to me, where I was in that point, I'm like, that's it, God, you're talking to me. I need to stop looking at what I've done for 28 years in IT. I've got to start doing something different. Here's the problem. Peter was in a boat like this. I feel like I'm in a boat like this. And I don't have a clue where the other side of the boat is. And that's the journey I'm on right now, is trying to find where Jesus has told me to go. I really don't know. I'm not up here trying to set something up to give you a punchline here at the end. I'm on a journey right now to find my other side of the boat. And I think we all should be. So often, I look out at so many of you who I've known for 40, 45 years. And we do the same thing over and over again. And we have frustrations. I hear some of you guys talk about the frustrations we have of a dwindling church, of a dwindling people of celebrating the holy days. Maybe we need to find the other side of the boat. Maybe we need to find a way to do this differently for a while. It caught us a bunch of fish in the beginning, but are we running short? So that's where I'm heading, to the other side of the boat. So as I said before, that was my first full day in Athens. The rest of the trip, we did go to Corinth. Fantastic, walking where Paul had walked, seeing where Paul had lived, watching where Paul was tied up and beat in front of the officials in the city, looking at the temples that he had to compete with and the paganism he had to compete with the Christian message in Corinth. Wow, I could spend days talking about that city and what we saw there in the ruins. But what we went for was this. We went for the homeless. We went for the least of these. So this picture and this next picture, these are two people that we met on the streets. We served on the streets. Do you notice anything similar about the two pictures? They're two different men. Do you notice anything specific about these two pictures? Neither one of them you can see their face. Because I want to tell you something about what we do with homelessness. We take their face away from them. Think about a homeless person. You probably don't have a really clear picture of a face. Because it's so much easier. It's so much easier for them not to have a face. They do have faces. And one night there was a couple times we went on these walks where we took sandwiches and drinks and a third thing, I don't remember what the third thing was, but to hand out to some of the homeless people that the lead of these ministries knew about. And so we'd walk up to them and we'd meet them and we'd introduce ourselves and we'd talk to them. And yep, we shook their hand without hand sanitizer with us. And we're still alive. We made it through it. Some of them really stunk. And if you ask Corey, I don't do well with bad smells. They were dirty. Some of them had needles. Some of them had drugs right there with them. Some of them were so out of it, they didn't even know we were there. We just left them a sandwich. There was one time, one of the ladies that was with us, she started talking to this man, and he said, I don't believe in your Jesus. And I watched what was happening, and I'm not one of those people that kind of step back into the background very often. But I felt called to for a second, and I did. I just stepped back, and I let her talk. I just got out of the way, and I stepped behind her, and I just prayed over her the whole time. And you know what she did? She listened to him. She asked his name. She heard his story. And he said, I don't believe in your Jesus. And she said, but he loves you. Man, her testimony right there was so powerful for me. And then we went a little further. And unfortunately, this next picture I'm going to show you, I don't have the picture of the lady we met, but she looked a lot like this. So just pretend that this is the woman I met. And I want you to see her face. And this woman came up to us with her husband. And this story is just, I'll never forget this. We were handing out juice boxes, sandwiches and everything. So we gave them a sandwich. And we had red juice boxes and we had blue juice boxes. So we handed out a blue juice box to her husband and a blue juice box to her. She didn't speak English. No. I was like, what's going on? And she starts saying something that I can't understand. And I turned to one of our guys. He said, she wants a red one. I was like, what? He said, she wants a red one. And she even came over. She starts digging through my bag to find a red one. And I'm like, woman, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. I just gave you a juice box. She wanted a red one. She didn't want a blue one. And I was like, I was kind of a little put out. It's like, don't you just know I just walked a whole half a mile here with these juice boxes to give you a juice box? And you're going to complain about what color I give you? She wanted a red one. And so I took this story back to our house, because after we'd do stuff, we would always go back and debrief and talk about it. And I told everybody this, kind of like, can you believe this woman? And Bethany, one of our guides, she said, Brent, she wanted a red one. And it just hit me. She's a person. She has wants. She has desires. She has preferences. She is a person just like me. I would have wanted a red one. I would have preferred a red one myself. So why is it any different that she preferred a red one? It isn't. Yes, she's homeless. Yes, she's destitute. Yes, she needs my help. But she wanted a red one. And it just, for the first time in my life, I know this is going to sound stupid. I realized homeless people are people. They are human beings. They go to sleep every night with fears. They wake up in the morning with hope. They have preferences. There's food that we will give them that they don't like, that they will throw away and go hungry because they don't like it. They will ask for what they want. They are human beings. You see, when we started preparing for this trip, we had a series of devotionals we had to read. And all of them were to prepare us to get it out of our mind that we were going to Greece, big bad Americans, to help save people in Athens. All of it was about, how are they going to save me? People of Athens, the homeless, the refugees, they stepped into our lives. What impact was of that trip? The impact was my life was changed. The impact was all 30 of us were changed. That woman who got her red juice box would have gotten it from somebody else if I didn't show up. I would not have gotten that story if I didn't show up. The least of these have faces. The least of these sometimes are in prison. Sometimes they're drug addicts. Sometimes they've made a choice to be there. Sometimes they're our former neighbor. Sometimes they got kicked out. Sometimes they were fleeing a country and went to another country and could not find a home. They have faces. They have names. They have stories. They are the least of these. Have you fed Jesus? Have you fed Jesus? But let me ask, are they the least of these? Because what I learned that night was I was. I dehumanized people. I thought, all I got to do is big bad American Brent show up with some money and some juice boxes and they'll flock to me and be so thankful that I showed up. I am the least of these. Yes, I know I'm taking a little bit out of context what Jesus was saying in his passage in Matthew 25. But I am, and we are. If we do not see the people who need our love as human beings with names, faces, stories, lives, wants, desires, we are the least of these. So maybe we go to the other side of the boat for a while and look at the people. Maybe we find our way to get out and serve people. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a sheep? Or do you want to be a goat? Because Jesus was very clear. You get to be here if you feed him. If you don't, you are here. He didn't say anything else in that passage. He said, if you feed me, if you visit me, if you clothe me, when? Who? Those who need you to. Then you will be with him for eternity. If you don't, you get to be without him for eternity. Are you going to continue to be the least of these? Are we going to continue to be the least of these? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And we will do what he has asked us to do. Will we be short? Absolutely. Will we be perfect? No way. Will we find ourselves struggling again? Yes. Will we take a blue and a red box to somebody and try to force the blue on them again? We absolutely will. But we will go. We will hear the call of God. We will search for the other side of the boat. We will serve and we will follow the calling of Jesus Christ on our lives every day that we can walk. For the least of these.
Thank you, Brent. Son, let's close service today by singing another song. If you'll all please rise and turn to 174 in your hymnals or watch the screen over here. Shall we gather at the river? After which we'll have a closing prayer by Mr. Wade Dosier. And then after that, if you would, let's sing number 207 in the hymnal. He is Lord. Okay? All right. Shall we gather at the river where might angels' feet have trod with its crystal the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. On the margin of the river, washing up its silver spray, we will walk and worship ever all the happy golden days. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Ere we reach the shining river, letting every burden down, grace our spirits will deliver and provide a robe and a crown. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our hungry hearts will quiver with a melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Mr. Dozier.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity to observe your feast and come together and enjoy the great sermons like we heard today with family and friends. And we ask you now for dismissal, that we can all go in fellowship, and we ask your blessing upon the meals that we'll have together. And we ask it all in the name of your Son and our coming King, Jesus Christ. Amen.
He is Lord, He is Lord, He is risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Hallelujah. Before we all get away, am I on? Okay. Turn me back on, would you, back there? Blake, turn me on, would you? Hello. I've got an announcement to make. Okay. For all of you that didn't know it, there is a pie and ice cream social tonight. And where was that at? Where? Oh, Smoking in Style. Pie and ice cream social tonight at Smoking in Style. Same place we had the barbecued beef and chicken. Thank you.